Hey guys, YouTuber Hunter here. Alright, now here I am continuing with these Winnie the Pooh movie reviews. Now here I am with a review for the Tigger movie. So, yeah, this movie came out in 2000, and this was just like recently after I had turned 6 years old, so yeah. At the time of this movie was released, I was like 6 years old, and so yeah, I actually did see this movie in the theaters. And really, since then, I really haven't watched this movie like all that much. Like, I mean, like I said, I saw it in the theater when it was released, and then once it came to a video, I did like watch it a few times, but it wasn't like anything like I really didn't watch this film like as much as I did like a lot, like several other Winnie the Pooh films that were released before this. I did watch like a lot, like of course like the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I've watched like so much, and Pooh's Great Adventure: The Search for Christopher Robin. I watched a lot, and yeah, there were like other like Winnie the Pooh videos that I did like watch a lot like growing up too. So yeah, there were a lot of ones that I did watch a lot, and I really didn't like watch this movie nearly as much as I did like those other films that came before it. But I mean, I still thought that this was a good movie overall. I mean, yeah, I think it was just because like since like I was like younger when I saw the other Winnie the Pooh films, and since Winnie the Pooh was really like geared towards like the really like younger kids, that's probably why like I was like watching those ones a lot more than I was watching like this one and like others that came after it. Like around this time, I felt that this was kind of like where I was like starting to kind of like outgrow Winnie the Pooh a little bit. Since I was like 6 at this point, I really felt that it was probably like since like this really like this was like around like the end of the age range for me to really like be into Winnie the Pooh. So yeah, I think like after this film, I really was not really like keeping up with like Winnie the Pooh very much, and I really wasn't like watching a lot of stuff that came after this. I mean, yeah, like on TV there were like the TV Winnie the Pooh TV shows. There was like the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and the Book of Pooh and stuff. And so yeah, I really like I did watch those shows along with like the movies that I was talking about just a minute ago. Yeah, this was kind of like around the point where I really was not really like watching a lot of like Winnie the Pooh movies that really like were constantly coming out. Like the ones, the next ones I'm gonna be getting into up next after this movie, be like I really haven't like seen like the other few Winnie the Pooh movies that I'm gonna be talking about up next with these reviews. But yeah, so yeah, this was kind of like where I was kind of like not really like watching Winnie the Pooh movies very much. But yeah, this was still like a pretty good movie overall. I mean, yeah, I actually think that the story that this film is telling, it is actually like a pretty good story. I mean, of course, like as the title says, like the focus on this film, it's really not on Pooh. The focus is really on Tigger. So yeah, I think it is interesting that they decided to really like make a Winnie the Pooh film that's really like the main focus is really on another character and not really on Pooh. So yeah, that was interesting to see. And yeah, in this film, like just you still have like the pretty much like the entire cast, voice cast from like New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and the voice cast that was in Pooh's Great Adventure, almost all reprising their roles. Yeah, you still have Jim Cummings voicing Pooh, and also has John Fiedler as Piglet, Ken Sansom as Rabbit, Peter Cullen as Eeyore, and so yeah, they do like have pretty much all the original cast. But yeah, in this was the first film where, like, now Jim Cummings, he not only voiced Pooh, but this was like the first film where Jim Cummings was also voicing Tigger. Yeah, by this point, Paul Winchell, who was the original voice of Tigger, he had retired from the role. I mean, yeah, Paul Winchell like ended up retiring from the role of the voice of Tigger er, in 1999 after the A Valentine for You special. And so yeah, that was the last time Paul Winchell had actually voiced Tigger. So yeah, at this point, Jim Cummings was now voicing both Pooh and Tigger. And Jim Cummings, like he did a great job voicing Tigger. I mean, like I told you guys before, like back when I was giving my thoughts on the first Christopher Robin movie trailer, her like Jim Cummings was voicing Tigger around this time, and I really couldn't tell the difference between like Jim Cummings' voice and Paul Winchell's. I mean, Jim Cummings just sounded like identical to Paul Winchell. So yeah, Jim Cummings was it's just like, this shows how great of a voice actor he really is. I mean, he can really like disguise his voice to make it sound like another person's. I mean, yeah, of course, like, you know, like the from the Lion King, the song "Be Prepared," where like during the song, like at one, Jim Cummings ended up like taking over the rest of the song at one point after, like, I guess Jeremy Irons' voice gave out or something. So yeah, Jim Cummings, just, this shows like how much of a great voice actor he really is. So yeah, and so yeah, and in this film also does have a Kanga and Roo. So yeah, good that they put Kanga and Roo in this film, since like they weren't in Pooh's Great Adventure. So yeah, I'm glad that they did include them in this film. And you also do have a Christopher Robin in this movie as well, but Christopher Robin doesn't come into this film until like the very end. So yeah, there's that really not much of Christopher Robin in this film at all. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, like I was saying, the story for this film I actually do think is a pretty good story. I mean, the story in this film, this is basically like, as if you know Winnie the Pooh, you know that Tigger has always said that he's the only Tigger in the world. But yeah, this movie is like about like Tigger actually feeling that maybe he actually does have a family of his own kind, and there are actually like a whole family of Tiggers. And so yeah, that's really what this film is mainly about. It's mainly about like Tigger trying to like find his family of Tiggers, and it's just like yeah, it's really just about that. How Tigger really does feel that he actually does have a family tree, and he's really just trying to find like his actual family. So I do like that about this film. And then yeah, the whole culmination of this film is really like Tigger really figuring out that he does actually have a family, but it's not actually a family of Tiggers. You probably can guess like who his family really is. So yeah, but I'll get to that when I do reach that part in the film. And so yeah, it's basically like sending the message to kids that to discover like who your true family really is. It really isn't like necessarily by blood, but yeah, you do realize like who your real family truly is. So yeah, I like that this film really does like try to send out that message of really recognizing your true family, and not really like necessarily like by blood or anything. Yeah, I do like it about this film. And yeah, this film also does like have a kind of like another subplot with like Rue wants to learn like this whoopty duper loopty looper alley ooper bounce that Tigger has, which is basically just like a really big bounce where like Tigger goes like spinning around everywhere here, and he just like is bouncing all over the place. So yeah, it's kind of like this just big bounce. And yeah, I think that this is really like the only like Winnie the Pooh film, and even like Winnie the Pooh thing in general, that really does have anything regarding that a whoopty duper loopty looper alley ooper bounce. So yeah, that's like another subplot in this film. But yeah, the main focus is really just like Tigger trying to really find his family. So yeah, and so yeah, it is a pretty good film. I mean, I really don't think it is like really anything great, but it's like Pooh's Grand Adventure, where it's just like a really good, lighthearted kids movie. And yeah, it is worth like 75 minutes of a watch. So yeah, it is just like, it's a good film, and it is worth a watch, especially like for families and stuff, and especially like if you do have kids and they love Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, I think they'll get enjoyment out of this film. So yeah, so it is a good film overall. I would give it like 3 stars out of 4 once again. I mean, if I did have like one gripe with this film, I felt like maybe like the animation, it really wasn't as great as like other things Winnie the Pooh really hated in the past. Like the animation on the characters is good and all, but I felt like the like animations for like the backgrounds and stuff, I really just felt like they really weren't as well drawn as like other like Winnie the Pooh who of films and TV shows and stuff. Like even like the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and stuff. If any even like the direct to video Winnie the Pooh films, I thought that they actually had better animation, and like just the sketches for the backgrounds were like done like a lot better, and they just really did look a lot better than they do in this film. I mean, the it really just seemed like with the backgrounds for this film, just the sketches for them, it just kind of felt like it was like a budget for a direct to video Disney animated sequel, which I mean, you know how those looks, how when you compare them to like their original like theatrically released films, you just look just like their budget was just cut in half, and it really is kind of like how it seems here. But I mean, that's really just like my only real gripe with this film, just like the just the animation really just doesn't look as good as like even a lot of other the Winnie the Pooh like direct-to-video films and the TV shows and stuff. I mean, and even like the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, it had like a lot better animation. Like the animation, there's like this sequence where Pooh like is like with the bees and stuff. How Pooh, like of course, is like with the bees, and really, and even like the bees really just they don't look nearly as good as like they did in the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Like during like the Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree bit, like in that part where Pooh is like being chased by bees, the bees really did look a lot better in the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh than they do here. So yeah, just yeah. But that's really just my only real gripe with this film. Is just like the animation really doesn't look as good as like a lot of previous Winnie the Pooh projects, but it is still like a good film. So yeah, like I said, it is. I really do like the story for this film, and it is worth a watch. So yeah, you'll get enjoyment. I think you'll will like find enough to really like about this film. So yeah, okay. So yeah, let me just get right into the story. Alright, so the film opens in kind of a similar way that the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh did. I mean, it opens up in kind of like in Christopher Robin's like real room again, and like live action, and they kind of like redid Christopher Robin's room and stuff. And yeah, you have a John Hurt as the narrator in this film, and yeah, the narrator is basically like giving like a similar description of what the narrator in the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh did at the start, just saying how this was Christopher Robin's room and how he has many like animals to play with and how they're his friends and stuff, and then just like the narrator then like then said that Christopher Robin's friend is who this story is about, and it is a Pooh, and then yeah, Tigger then like pops up, and then was just like Tigger then just interrupted it, and yeah, Tigger was basically just saying he was tired of most of the stories being mainly about Pooh, and then yeah, Tigger then just like rearranged the title page, and it spelled the Tigger movie, yeah. And then, yeah, and then as it started, then just like showed Tigger like bouncing through the 100-acre wood, singing the wonderful thing about Tigger song, and yeah, they actually like kind of like made like an extended version of the song for this movie. Yeah, Tigger was like singing a lot more than just like what we know him saying, just the wonderful thing about Tigger's a wonderful thing and all that. But like what he was singing in the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, here it's like a much extended version. And yeah, Tigger is just like wanting to find somebody to bounce with him, and yeah, he's like was talking to Pooh and Piglet and Kanga and Roo, and just like everyone was just too busy because they were getting ready for the winter that was coming up. And so yeah, Tigger was then like just kind of depressed, and then yeah, as Tigger was kind of like just like trying to find someone to bounce with, he ended up like accidentally destroying Eeyore's house with a really huge boulder. And then yeah, Rabbit was then like trying to try to lift the boulder with like this complex pulley system that he had rigged up. And then yeah, I just then like Tigger just then ended up just wrecking the pulley system, and then yeah, everyone was just sent flying into a pond except for Roo. And then yeah, Rabbit just of course he was just like so pissed off at Tigger for destroying his rock remover. And then yeah, everyone else was really just like saying to Tigger that they really cannot bounce like he can because they're not Tiggers like he was. And then yeah, Tigger then was just like crushed by that, and then he was just like wandering off into loneliness, and he was just like wishing that there was someone else like him. And then Roo then caught up to Tigger and was just like asking Tigger if there was like another Tigger that he could bounce with. And then if he actually did have a family. And then yeah, Tigger, after he heard the Roo talking about Tigger family, yeah, Tigger then just like was fascinated with the idea that he could actually have a whole family of Tiggers. And so then as Tigger and Roo then went to Owl to try to find out some more about Tigger's possible family history. And then yeah, Owl was then just showing them like portraits of his own family, and he was just like talking about like the concept of family trees. And it was just showing like how there were owl ancestors, just seeming to be like perched on a tree because yeah, like the portraits that ended up falling over, and Tigger was like trying to put them back up, and as he did, it just like seemed to appear that they were all just perched on a tree, and so then yeah, Tigger then just felt that the family tree was actually like an actual tree. And then yeah, Tigger and Roo then just like went off to try to find the tree. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, they just like were not able to find the tree, and so then they like just went back to Tigger's home to try to find some clues about Tigger's family's whereabouts. And then yeah, Tigger then was just like bringing up the whoop-de dooper or loop-de-looper alley hooper bounce to Roo, and Roo just like really wanted to learn the bounce, and so then yeah, Roo like attempted to try the bounce, but then yeah, Roo then just like ended up like bouncing into Tigger's closet, and eventually like they Roo ends up finding a heart-shaped locket that Tigger actually had, and then once they open it up, they like Tigger was hoping that there would be a picture of his family in the locket, but when they opened it up, there was nothing in the locket. So then yeah, after like Tigger just really like didn't have any idea about his family, Rue then was just like telling Tigger that he should try to write a letter to his family, which then like yeah, Tigger ended up writing a letter to his family, but then and yeah, the wind then just ended up like blowing it away, and was that Tigger and Rue were just like hoping that the letter would be blown to Tigger's family, and yeah, Tigger and Rue were just like waiting, hating to hating for any response from Tigger's family, and at the same time, like Pooh, a Piglet, and Eeyore were like heard like about Tigger and Roo searching for Tigger's family, so they were trying to find Tigger's family also, and they like thought that some frogs with some stripes were actually Tigger's family, but obviously, of course, they weren't. And yeah, and then we had like this small thing with like a Pooh trying to get some honey from the beehive, and to try to calm the bees down, Pooh like saying a lullaby to the bees, you know, stuff. And then yeah, it eventually ended up in like hijinks and stuff, and then yeah, Pooh, Piglet, and Eeyore just ended up like being chased by bees and you know, all that. And then yeah, as like the snow was starting to fall, it was just showing that there was no response to Tigger's letter to his family, and yeah, Tigger then was just like so like sad and stuff like that, and eventually like Roo then just like gathered everybody together, and then yeah, they were then like writing a letter like making it seem like it was actually from Tigger's family, and yeah, all of them like contributed. It was like a Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, Kanga, and Owl, along with Roo. Yeah, they were all like just like pitching in and contributing to the letter and just like giving some friendly advice about in the letter, and then they signed it "Your Family." And then yeah, Tigger ended up receiving the letter, and then after like Tigger and like ended up like misinterpreting a part of the letter, and he felt that his family was actually coming to visit him that following day. And then yeah, and like Pooh, Piglet, Roo, and the others were like all like trying to tell Tigger that they were that they the letter was from them, but they just didn't have the heart to actually tell Tigger that. And so then what they decided to do was they then decided to just disguise themselves as Tiggers, and just they made a bunch of like Tigger costumes, and then yeah, Tigger was like holding a family reunion, and they decided to attend it. And there was this one point where a Rabbit ended up like finding what they were doing, and yeah, Rabbit just was like not happy about it, and just felt that they were spending more time wasting time doing this than actually like preparing for the winter. And yeah, Rabbit then just ended up like leaving angrily. And yeah, then after that, like everyone then was just like feeling they should actually prepare for the winter, but yeah, Rue then was just like persuading one to just like help to cheer Tigger up. So then, yeah, they eventually then like finished their Tigger costumes, and they all went to Tigger's house. And then, yeah, Tigger of course was like really happy. He did actually think that they were real Tiggers like him. And yeah, they were just like partying and everything, just celebrating together, like dancing and doing all that. And then at one point, like Rue tried to do the whoop-de-dooper, loop-de-looper, rally-ooper bounce. But yeah, he ended up like crashing into Tigger's closet again. And then yeah, it then like ended up like uh knocking a Rue's Tigger mask off, and then yeah, Tigger then like just saw that it was Rue, and then he discovered that all the Tiggers were his friends. It was like Pooh, Piglet, Kanga, Owl, and Eeyore. And then after this, yeah, Tigger just like was not happy about it, and he just felt that his friends just betrayed him. And so then, yeah, Tigger then just decided to go out, and then just find his family for himself. And then he just like told everyone TTFE Tata forever. And then he went out into like a really bad snowstorm to find his family. And then as time passed on, then like Pooh and Roo then decided to form an expedition to find Tigger, and then yeah, they then like convinced Rabbit, who was hesitant at first, but Rabbit then eventually agreed to lead the expedition into the storm to find Tigger. And then like Tigger then thought that he did find his family tree because yeah, he found a big tree that was just like covered with snow that seemed to resemble stripes, and so then he felt that that would have been his family tree. And then as like Rabbit, Pooh, Eeyore, or Piglet, and Roo were looking for Tigger, he then like heard their uh, calls of his name, and he thought it was his family. But then when he jumped down from the tree, he then found his friends, and then yeah, Rabbit and the others were just like trying to convince Tigger to come home, but Tigger was just like telling them basically that he won't leave until his family comes. And then yeah, it then like was turning into an argument, and then like Tigger was like shouting, and then it ended up like causing an avalanche of snow. And so then yeah, Tigger then like saved his friends, and he just like bounced them all into like tree branches. But yeah, Tigger ended up like just being swept up into snow. And yeah, Tigger was like knocked unconscious, but then yeah, Roo was then did perform the whoop-de-dooper, loop-de-looper, rally-ooper bounce successfully, and he was able to save Tigger before anything happened to him. And then yeah, they eventually like got back to safety. And then after the avalanche stopped, then like Kanga, Owl, and Christopher Robin then found Tigger, and then yeah, Pooh was just like telling Christopher Robin that they were looking for Tigger's family. But then yeah, Tigger then like ended up like losing the letter in the avalanche, and yeah, Tigger was like sad by it. But then yeah, like all of his friends like were just reciting the parts from the letter that they contributed. And then yeah, that's when Tigger realized that like just all of his friends were his real family. So yeah, this is just like showing that the people that really that you're always with are really like your true family. So I do, like I said, I really do like that this film really does that. Yeah. And then yeah, back at Tigger's home, once they did return home, Tigger then was just throwing a family reunion with Pooh, Piglet, Rabbit, Kangaroo, Eeyore, Christopher Robin, and all of his friends. Yeah. And yeah, Tigger was just giving gifts to all of them. Like he gave Eeyore a small home that he had actually was meant as a family room for his family. And then he gave Pooh like a big honey pot and some firewood for Piglet to last them the winter. And then he also promised Rabbit that he'll watch where he is bouncing. And then yeah, for the final gift he gave Roo the locket, but still there was no picture in it. So then yeah, Christopher Robin and ended up taking a picture of like all of them together. And then yeah, and it just then like panned out, and it showed the picture inside the locket, and the locket closed, and then that's how the movie ended. So yeah, like I said, 3 stars out of 4. I mean, it is definitely like a good movie. I do like the message that this is sending, and I do like the story that this film has, and yeah, it just really is really a a really good story, and it really does send a really good message to kids. So yeah, it is like a good movie, and it is definitely worth a watch. So yeah, if you haven't seen this before, and if you're a Winnie the Pooh fan, give it a watch. You'll like this film. It is worth a watch. And yeah, it just really does have like good message and good story. And yeah, it's a good kids film. So yeah, all right. Alright, so yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about it. Alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of the Tigger movie. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and yeah, stay tuned for more Winnie the Pooh reviews coming up next. And like I said, the next few that I'm going to be talking about are really ones that, like I said, I really haven't watched because, yeah, around that time I really felt that I was getting kind of like old to really be seeing like the new Winnie the Pooh films. But yeah, but when I watch these films, I am gonna finally get to see like what these films really did do, and really what they try, really what this Frank, these films now tried to do next. So yeah, we'll see what they plan to do next. Well, at least I will. So yeah, stay tuned for reviews for more Winnie the Pooh movies up next. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.